So I don't know how to start these things since I've never done them. But today we're going to be doing a honeydew melon kind of mukbang thing. I think they're relatively ripe. I don't know if you can see that very well, but anyways, I already cut it into half before, and I'm gonna just keep cutting them now. I kind of just decided to do these things, the mukbang, because I'm really bored at home, and I have nothing else to do besides like watch YouTube videos and just kind of watch YouTube videos and Vines and stuff like that. And that's kind of boring for me after a while. And you know, what I do like to watch a lot of though is mukbangs, because they're people just talk about their lives and stuff, and that's really fun for me to listen to. And I know probably I'm using the correct knife for this, and that's fine. I don't really care. I'm sorry that you can't really see what I'm doing, probably, since I am on my iPhone. I don't have a proper like standing stand thing for it. I don't really know what to talk about, but I think I would just start off with maybe the sound in the background that you might hear. If not, that's cool. If you do, then I mean, it's not a big deal. So if you hear it, it's just my dog. She's currently just, what she does is she doesn't really eat a lot. She just kind of likes to bury her food whenever she's in the crate. And I know that's kind of like I don't like to put her in the crate, but if I don't, sometimes she gets really aggressive with smaller dogs. And right now I have a smaller dog in my house because my mom was supposed to be fostering her or whatever. I'm sorry, keep adjusting the camera. My mom's supposed to be fostering her, but the person who gave us... I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Sorry. So the person who gave my mom the dog to foster, she hasn't called back, and she was supposed to call back on the 14th of June, and it is the 22nd, or 24th now, right? So, was it the 24th or the 25th? It's Friday. I think it's the 25th now. Anyway, so she was supposed to call back, and she didn't. So now we kind of have the dog with us. And I mean, I don't mind, right? But it's kind of frustrating because that way I have to kind of pay attention and make sure that whenever my dog, like not the foster dog, but like the dog that I actually consider to be like my actual companion, because I've had her for a while now, we had another dog earlier, and her name was Chelsea. No. Oh my god. I've had a lot of dogs. Cindy. So we had her, and my dog, her name is Chi-Chi. They're all mutts. I don't ever know what they really are. She kind of, I think she had this thing where she was tired of being dominated, and so she kind of attacked the smaller one. And she's done it before, and that's why I've become paranoid about her playing with other dogs and such. Of course, my mom didn't listen to me, and she thought it was fine. And actually, my dog, Chi-Chi, she did act fine for a little while, but the last time she did that, or she played with a smaller dog, it was the last time she played with a smaller dog at all, because we don't trust her anymore. You know, I actually think she needs like a mental evaluation, because she actually ended up killing the other dog. I don't think she meant to do it. I don't know what came over her. But what happened is basically she grabbed her throat and punctured it. And I'm sorry if you're sensitive. I'll stop talking about it. But anyways, so now we foster, which we actually have been doing for at least a year. I'm not sure if it's been more than that, but what we do is we just take them in and then we take them to events every other weekend or so. Every so often we take them to events to get adopted. Sometimes I go, sometimes I don't. And yeah, so we've had like 5 dogs that we've fostered before. And it's actually a lot of fun, but it's actually very expensive as well because when we were fostering initially, my mom didn't really have a job, and so that kind of... She's a very vocal dog. The big one. She barks at anything. They're fine. So anyways, yeah. The dog that we have with us right now, the big one that's making all that sound, is actually maybe a year old now. She's like a year old, but she still acts like a puppy, which is, I mean, it's cute sometimes, but other times you kind of just want her to grow up. Because, I mean, it's kind of annoying sometimes. But it's fine, I guess. And then the smaller one we've had for maybe a month. A little less than. But yeah, the person who gave us to foster her hasn't contacted us, and supposedly she got back 10 days ago from I don't know where. So, again, I don't mind. It's just that I can't trust my other dog to be around smaller dogs because she will get aggressive. And I know maybe you're thinking, don't cut her with your fingers. I know. I've known this for like 10 years. I just like to do it. I'm sorry. But, I don't know. What else to talk about? Well, okay. Maybe, like, the people that we foster with is called Brave Bully Rescue, something like that. They mostly focus on pit bulls because, you know, pit bulls are marginalized against and they're, like, stereotypes that they're aggressive, and they're really not. Like, this pit bull that I had to attend to, like, about a week ago, for, like, a whole week almost, he was so dependent on attention. Like, when you go to bed, he would go with you in bed and just, like, put his face all over your face. He won't lick you, maybe, but he'll, like, plop his head down on your face, and it's really funny. He was really dependent, though, and he got, like, anxiety whenever he was away from people. So that was kind of sad. But yeah, we've fostered, like, my family anyway. I don't know about the other people that are in the program, but we've helped foster moms, like mommies, pit bull mommies that were used to breed. Let me tell you something. When people get pure breeds, get a pure breed that's, like, in a shelter. Because what you do when you pay breeders, or most of them, I'm not really caught up on the breeder thing, but if you haven't noticed by my username, I am vegan, so animals matter to me, you know? I want all animals to be happy and have a life, and I am an animal rights activist. I don't get out a lot, but if you have me on Facebook, which I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give out because it's more personal than this, I post a lot of memes on there, and yeah, so I do want to do actual, like, live activism. Like, I want to go to protests and stuff, but the fact that I'm 17 and don't know how to drive, which means I have to depend on other people for transportation, and no one else I know is vegan, like especially not in my family or anybody. Like I know people online that are vegan, but no one in real life, you know. So yeah, I can't go to rallies, or if anything happens, I really can't go because I don't know how to drive myself. But anyways, so with the dog breeding thing, I don't support it at all, because if you know anything about how dogs and cats and everything end up in shelters because, or in pounds and stuff, and unfortunately a lot of them do end up getting killed because they can't support that many animals in one building, or you know. And then it makes it harder when you breed animals specifically for specific things, because a lot of those animals that are bred for specific things do have higher rates of just genetic problems. And so we do take mostly pit bulls or pit bull mixes, because especially if they're on the streets or something, or we see them, or I don't really know exactly how it works, because I'm not a leader of it. I'm just kind of a participant. I'm just there, and I help with the taking in the dogs to the houses and stuff. But yeah, I really don't like the whole pure breed thing, because it makes it people think that it's okay to get pure breeds when there's animals in shelters. And you know, that kind of sucks, because animals in shelters need love. You know, you don't have to breed specific breeds to like get love from the dog. If you want a smart dog, teach your smart dog. Like get your dog and teach him how to do things. Any dog could be considered stupid if you don't teach them how to do tricks or whatever. And I don't. Just make sure if you get a pet or whatever, or a companion, just make sure you spray and neuter them, please. Or spay and neuter them so they don't go in a breeding frenzy. Because what happens is with a lot of street dogs and street cats and all that they do get taken up and they get put into shelters and they get like killed within a month or so. You know, just like do the responsible thing. They're very juicy. So, in my own personal experience, we've never gotten any sort of pure breeds. I used to have mostly cats when I was growing up, so obviously I love cats. Like, if I see a meme of a cat, I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute, I'm instantly in love. Dog is a little different, but that's okay, because, you know, I still love them. Like, part of me being an ethical vegan is that even if an animal's not my favorite, I still respect their life, you know? I still respect what their life means. Like, every single living creature has a purpose, even if you don't know it. Like, you might hate roaches, but they have a purpose in the ecosystem that is your house. Like, I personally don't mind roaches as long as they don't come crawling to me, because anything that moves really fast, you're just kind of bound to be afraid of. And roaches I can stare at. Like, I will get so close to them and not even care. But once they start skidding towards me and, like, flying, that's where I draw the line, you know? It's not the animal themselves, it's just the thought of it, like, flying towards me that scares me. Especially, like, the thought of them getting in my mouth. No. That is my biggest fear, is just, like, getting an animal in my mouth. Just like, ugh, nope. I know that I used to be afraid of roaches, and I think that's, like, a thing because, by the way, I don't know if you can tell. The lighting kind of ruins it, I think. But anyways, I think a lot of people are afraid of roaches because I don't understand them. I know I was afraid of roaches because when I was younger, one flew onto my back. And I was like 10, or less than actually. I was probably like 5 or 7 or something like that. I don't remember. I just know it was terrifying that a roach was on my back. And my mom was like laughing or whatever, I think. You know, memory kind of gets skewed up when you're thinking about it, because like new pathways and stuff are different. And you try to remember things. I really hope you can hear me well. I mean, I don't know if you can. I've never done that before, you know. I've never been this far away from, or actually filmed on my phone for myself, like my face, this far away. Like, yeah, I filmed my boyfriend and I together. But like, that was really close to me. I'm just gonna eat another one because I'm kind of just cutting and not actually eating, huh? I started the video with it like half cut already, or cut in half, because like I wanted to make sure it was good. And honestly, I don't know how to pick honeydew melons, but is this honeydew or I always get them mixed up. I don't know which one's honeydew and which one's the one that starts with the C. I forgot. Sorry, my phone video kind of turned off. But I realized while watching like 10 seconds of that previous video that you could barely hear me. So I'm gonna talk a little louder. It might seem like I'm yelling, which I actually kind of am, since I don't really talk this loud, like ever. Like even in school, teachers would call me and they're like, Melanie, you need to speak up. And yes, that's my name, although I go by Thrine because it's kind of just like a more, I don't know. I looked up the definition of Thrine and I really liked it. And I'm like, it kind of sounds like thrive. And then you put vegan to it and it's kind of like, oh, cool, you know, I don't know. So yeah, so I would prefer to be called Thrine just because it's just more related to like my vegan identity, you could say. You don't have to, I mean, it's fine, but just whatever. So yeah, it cut off, my phone cut off, which is fine. I'm gonna try to edit these two parts together, and if I can't, then I'll just make different videos for it, you know? Man, I forgot what I was talking about. So let's move on. Oh, right, okay, I was saying, yeah, these are not honeydews. They're cantaloupes, I think. I don't know, I get confused because it looks a lot closer to honey, right? I don't know. So I wanted, like, I really want to do like a live stream mukbang, like not just YouTube, but like I want to get questions from people and answer them. But obviously I can't do that because I don't really have any subscribers. I have like 1, I think, which is fine, you know. I don't care. But you know, you can't answer questions if nobody watches and nobody asks them, right? So yeah. If I do get enough viewers though, or subscribers or whatever, like maybe 100, I don't care. You know, a lot of people wait till they have thousands and thousands, but you know, as long as I have like an active amount of people on my things, I don't care. It could be just like 10 people, you know. I just want to answer questions. It's fun. I've seen it and I want to do some. Obviously, I'm not going to answer questions that I don't feel are safe to answer online. Especially because a lot of people are just kind of creepy online. So, you know, you have to be cautious out there. Especially when you're like someone who does something controversial, which a lot of people consider veganism to be controversial, which, like, I understand from a culture point of view, but like a health side. Yeah, so it keeps getting cut off because I have a lot of junk in my phone, but I really hope I find a way to put this all together. Because if not, it's just kind of useless. Ugh, camera angles, I swear. Sorry. Okay, so, like I was saying, I can understand veganism being controversial from a cultural point of view, but from a scientific point of view, any health type of view and like an animal's type of view and like a world starvation kind of view, it shouldn't be controversial, you know, because it kind of just helps alleviate all that. Helps alleviate animal suffering. It helps alleviate starvation across the world, which I feel like a lot of people don't realize, because especially because the obesity problem in America and a lot of Western countries, people forget that there is starvation. I feel like people also think it's only like an African thing, and it's really not. Like every country that I can think of experiences some sort of starvation. Not everybody's wealthy enough, you know, and not everybody has good enough income. Some people don't have the resources available. And I feel like veganism really can help that, because instead of feeding, you know, grains and stuff to livestock just so people can eat them, we should focus more on feeding people. Then we wouldn't have such a big problem with hunger, you know? And I feel like if we treat animals the most like defenseless creatures like cows, we only abuse, or I don't want to say we, but the human race only abuses cows because cows trust humans enough to not hurt them. You know, like cows are so gentle. The only instance I've ever seen of like a cow hurting someone was when a human being was being like abusive. You know, like I saw this video once of this man, I forgot which country it was in. I think it was like India or something. And this man was attacking a woman, and the cow attacked the man that was attacking the woman and made sure that the girl was safe. And the cow made sure that her calf was safe. So, you know, even cows understand, like, what shouldn't be done and what's dangerous. But because humans treat them so badly, they become afraid of humans. And when you're afraid of people, even humans, when they're afraid of humans, a lot of the time they can't do anything because they're afraid of being attacked. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but I'm pretty sure some of you do. You know, like, okay. If you've ever seen a person cuddling a cow, they are so gentle. They're huge, but they're so gentle. They're like giant dogs. 2,000-pound dogs, if you would like to relate it like that. Like, they lick you. That's so cute. I've never understood people who don't like to be licked, but I feel like those people have, a lot of people who don't like to be licked by dogs and stuff. I feel like a lot of them have makeup on, and they don't want to get it ruined. I mean, I understand if it could be like I just don't like being licked thing, but I find it soothing, you know? And it's cute. I think it's cute when an animal licks you, because it's like, oh, they like you. I don't care if it's just because I taste good or whatever. But yeah. I think that starvation wouldn't be a problem if people just stopped producing livestock. Like if they stopped forcing cows and chickens and whatever to have babies. Like, no cow is gonna have more than like 2 babies in a year. Or well, I don't know how many they have a year because of like forced impregnation and rape and whatever by humans. But, you know, when an animal has a lifespan of 20 plus years naturally, and they die at like age 4 because they are like because they're so stressed out, because they like are made to breed so much, you know, there's something wrong. So I'm done now cutting these things, and I don't know if it'll focus. Here. Is it? I don't know. But anyways, it's pretty terrible what they do to cows, you know? I'm like, I feel like if you abuse animals, then it's like obvious that you're gonna abuse humans, right? More likely. Because let's just think about it. Like if you wouldn't abuse a dog, a lot of chances are you wouldn't abuse like a human, right? And it comes from that thought of like people thinking they're more superior than other people. And like if you think you're superior to an animal, what's keeping you from thinking you're superior than someone else? Because you can just very easily say, oh, they're just like an animal or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? And that's what happened, you know? That's what's happened across cultures and whatever. Like, they're like, oh, they're not human. They're just like other animals, you know? They don't deserve rights. And like, a lot of people, I think, get confused when we say animal rights. It's obviously no one's voting for a chicken to have voting rights. Like, that doesn't make any sense, you know? I'm pretty sure a lot of chickens, if they could vote, they wouldn't vote for some people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people also think like, oh, you know, animal rights activists want animals to overrun humans. No. First of all, I honestly think that humans are way too overpopulated. When you can't feed a population of a species or whatever, then, like, if you can't feed them all relatively the same, and so, like, nobody experiences any sort of starvation or hunger, then there's a problem. And the easiest way to solve that problem is by, again, not feeding livestock the food that you should be feeding humans. Instead of wasting tons of, like, grains and stuff to feed cattle or whatever, use it to feed humans, you know? And a lot of people think that, well, if we stop killing animals, then obviously they're gonna, like, overpopulate. Like, okay. Another thing is that a lot of animals aren't gonna take over the world because there's this thing called natural selection, obviously, and so if you're not fit for your environment, you're going to die. Mm-hmm. And like, there's a lot of animals in the world because people decide to populate them. Like, if you pay someone for milk, they're going to enslave the mother cow. And they're gonna, like, you know, forcibly impregnate her, which is also referred to as rape, because a lot of times they have a rape rack. Like, that's literally what it's called, a rape rack. To hold the cow steady so you can artificially inseminate her. And a lot of the times, it happens with a human hand in the vagina, and that's really gross. Like, like, if you're into that, that's fine, but don't make, like, animals that can't consent to that go through it. So anyways, they do that. And then even if you're vegetarian, I really, really suggest that you cut down on or eliminate dairy and animal products in general completely. Because when you pay for, I honestly think that milk and eggs are very cruel. Like, it's not less or more cruel, because all cruelty, you know, sucks. But I think it's equally as cruel, if not slightly more, because you're basically saying you're taking away the woman's rights of the animals. You know, you're taking away her right to have a family and her right to reproduce by her own choice. And you're saying, by like paying for milk and eggs and stuff, you're taking away her children. Like, even with eggs, the eggs obviously aren't fertilized. So it's not like a baby cow, like, it's not a chicken fetus or whatever. But the chickens, they're forced to have all these eggs, and then once they're no longer useful or their reproduction value goes down or whatever, they get killed. And like the chicks have it really bad too, because they don't feel their mother, they don't meet their mother, and then oftentimes they're like in these conveyor belts, and they're just like manhandled by people, and they're just like thrown in individual sections like males, and then females, and then the males either usually get ground up alive, which I've like seen on video, so obviously it's not fake. Like it's so heartbreaking when you hear them chirp and then the chirping stops, and you see the little blades, you know, and then they either get ground up alive or they get suffocated in a bag, and they're all thrown in there together. So I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts in my mind and stuff. So maybe I'll get them out with mukbang. I guess we'll see, huh? There's this one quote that I really like, and it said, the dairy industry is the veal industry, or is the meat industry. Because what happens when you pay somebody for your milk, if it's not like plant-based, is that they take away the calf from the mother, and if it's a boy, you know, if the cow is a boy, we take him and put him into like a very confined space, and so he can't move. And if you didn't know, veal is baby cow meat, especially baby boy cow meat. And so what happens is they get put into like little crates or whatever, and they're kept from moving, because obviously veal is like the softest meat you can get, because it's a child, like it's a newborn basically, and it's also like, you know, kept, like if you don't move, your muscles will either, like, a lot of the times when you don't move for long periods of time, your muscles degenerate from like a stimulation. So like obviously you'll see a lot of people who are in comas and they're like tube fed or whatever, and instead of gaining weight, a lot of time they lose weight because, you know, you lose body muscle, because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. Which doesn't apply to everything, but applies to muscle. That's why a lot of people who are like in wheelchairs that have walked before, like have maybe 20 years, have walked for 20 years, and then they put in wheelchairs, they'll lose muscle. Because your body uses it for fuel. So I'm gonna close this video off now. Bye guys. Thank you for watching though.